Hey there, this is Perch, and I cannot figure out how to make this plug-in microphone work. So once again, I'm just, expensive equipment right here to the side, unplugged, and we're just using the phone again because that's how it's going to be. So anyway, today we're going to review Skyward. So this is an image title that came out last year, last sorry, April 2018 to be precise. Joe Henderson writer, Lee Garbett artist. And a really good team here. I'm just going to put up the team here rather than try and pronounce and butcher all the names. But this is a title that kind of launched with, I would say, minimal promotion. Image did a bit for it, but a lot of shops were caught unawares by the title. But it's a case where the artist did such a nice job of putting out a cover that looks really exciting, dynamic. There's something new here. So the girl's upside down, and the logo design is really good. The A is just an arrow up, and it's kind of tilted up in the type. And the number one is just centered at the bottom. These are all tiny little things, but it was enough to kind of make it stand out in the catalog and grab people's attention on the shelves. It caught the eye, and it also benefited from the fact that the cover artist, and when you see the kind of the cover and the colors, and it looks really nice and appealing, and then you open up the book, and what do you know? It is the same artist and the same color, and it looks real good. What you see is what you get. And unfortunately, all too often, when you get a real catchy cover, you can pretty much be assured that what's going to be inside is going to be several tiers down of quality, or in some cases, not even matching the art on the cover. So anyway, this book is going to hop right into some past. And what's cool is that right now here in April, kind of almost a year later, the storylines are introduced here are being paid off. So we've got a little scene of parental bliss with a child, and they're kind of going back and forth with kind of standard home stuff, and then suddenly, what's going on? The mug is floating, and this is really cool. And low gravity. The guy is the dad's like, oh, I was right. But then suddenly, the wonder of the situation becomes the horror of the situation. And you look outside, and it's like, hey, what if we could all fly? What if gravity went away? Well, this is what happened. Cars and trucks and people are going hurtling off into space, and bad news. And then his wife's in danger, and it's like leap for me, but she doesn't make it. Car hits her, and it's he's losing his wife, and then he remembers his child, and he goes in, and thankfully she's out of the crib but still in the house, and the horror of the situation, kind of all just beautiful illustrations. I mean, and not just illustration, but a lot of people can draw and do draw superheroes flying around in the air, but this artist is really capturing the idea that you're floating through the air, that this isn't, it's both magical and terrifying at the same time, or magical and out of control. It's got a look of the people who are now flying do not know what's going on, and there's a lot of danger here. So all kind of a setup. The setup, it's a wonderful way to kind of introduce somebody to the comic, because we're going to do a crash course in here's a family, here's some characters, and here's just told through a lot of images, not a lot of words. You don't see the giant novel on the page trying to explain what's going on. It's told through really good storytelling, really good imagery. I mean, this is a writer and an artist really working together in a powerful way. A lot of detail going on here. It's a good intro, and it's going to set up the concept that gravity is kind of gone awry, and this creates an opportunity as much as danger, and also that this family, very happy family, you 2 pages. You don't need a issue of decompression to get that this is a happy family in exactly 2 pages that is suddenly torn apart, by page 5, and now the father is scared for the daughter, and that's going to open up kind of the whole world 20 years later. So, here's the girl. Again, we don't need a little text bubble over her head saying, here she is. This was a girl from earlier, last page. Remember, she's grown up now, 20 years, so she's older. You don't need any of that. But you see that she has become very fluid of walking around and flying and kind of using this low gravity situation. And it's you get an immediate kind of flashback of a crossing guard and how weird it must be to be tethered to the ground. So again, through a lot of kind of just innocent quick dialogue and really good storytelling, the team here is basically telling you that all these people have grown up. They no longer remember what it was like to be tethered to the ground with gravity, and it's just an entirely new world. And this girl is very, very comfortable with everything. And so there's more kind of character building, more how people are getting used to it. We're seeing that what was once a disability of one of the characters has no legs. It doesn't matter. He no gravity means he is just as mobile and comfortable as everybody else. So we're seeing some advantages, some disadvantages. We're seeing a bunch of things. We get a giant, in what's one of the weirder pictures in the book. I mean, this art is really nice. It's very fluid. It's very dynamic. The coloring is really good. I mean, there's just these pictures pop, and then you get to this page of like, suddenly there's this huge woman with. It's not actually the size of her. It's her strange kind of uh, Marge Simpson like curly hair. I'm not sure what. Um, this was an odd choice. Um, Everything else is very. I don't know how to describe this. There's a scratchiness to the art, but at the same time, it's very fluid and very natural. So it's. Again, I'm really liking the art. It's very. It fits. This is a team that fits the book. It feels airy, if you will, if that's a word, and it's exciting. So, but then you've got this giant woman with a package. I don't know. Maybe they're telling you that, hey, weight is also cool in zero gravity because she doesn't have to lumber along. And I no fat shaming here. It's just it's a weird panel. And this is the first character that looks very to the rest of the title, but it's fine. Um, so some hijinks and shenanigans occur. Our hero here gets kind of mugged, but then she pulls out a gun, and this is again, it's another. This story is very, and I mean this in a good way, relentlessly showing us how things are different. And the show word is intentional. It's not telling, it's showing. So she's showing us that a gun. The best aspect of it is to run away. She can shoot and just zoom up into the air and use gravity to her advantage, and she's kind of moving along with her package. So that it's an interesting kind of aspect. And then finally we catch back up with her father, who's older, and we see how he has kind of how the experience 20 years ago changed him. He is terrified of gravity. He's desperate to try and get things back to the way they were. The expression "the sky kills." One wrong step means death. And you see this very protective father. Clearly, he was a scientist once. We got that hint earlier, and now he's turned into somebody who's not adapted with the rest of the world. So you're inferring. They don't spell his stuff out, but the way he's drawn, the way he's behaving, the way he's acting, he's an outcast now, and that's what they're doing, and he's got a plan to fix it. So, and does his daughter want to fix it? We've actually just gone through a whole comic where the daughter never knew her mom, based on when she vanished from her life, and she's comfortable in this world. She's adapted. So, what does it mean to want to go back, and why do people want to go back? So, that's a first issue. It's not a double-sized issue. It's not any kind of crazy, no crazy hijinks with the comic. It's a first comic, and it's telling its story, and it's a real, like I said, it was a very nice comic, and I think What's cool about this one is that a decent amount of indies, they come up with a comic and they try and do an established big two publisher idea better. So they're taking a character that already exists or a concept that already exists, or hey, maybe it's a superhero team and there's a big one and there's a leader one who's kind of straight laced, and there's the edgy one, and then there's the super slutty one, and then there's the one that's kind of brainy, and then one's good with computers, maybe that's the brainy one, and then there's the mysterious leader. There's a lot of books that feel the same, are the same, and they're trying to tell the same story better. And some do. There's some good comics out there that tell that story in its own unique way better. But I'm always very impressed with creators, writers, artists, the team that can go out there and do something different. Just they're going to present a story we haven't seen before and do it well. And that's what Skyward is a really good title. Now, I have the benefit of having read, the issues monthly now. So I think we're on issue 8. I think. Maybe no, we're on issue 11. What am I thinking? We're on issue 11. So of course we've almost gone a full year. It's been a long day. And so this title has progressed with a lot of different things. And what's interesting is if you go from issue 1, which I just went back and reviewed for you here, to issue 11, a lot has happened. They are not wasting time. They're moving things right along to get to this story. There's not a desire to kind of write for trade where you're going to get very small stories spread out over 6 issues. There, by issue 11, you've got a conspiracy, and you've got people running around trying to shoot people in underground layers and giant bugs, and just all kinds of stuff has gone on in less than a year. And whether this comic is for you or not is a whole other story. If you don't like new concepts, if you like kind of more traditional storytelling, this comic might not appeal to you. If you're more into polished art, I would say. I mean, this art looks pretty polished to me, but it's definitely got a polished sketch-like quality is the way I describe it. But it might not appeal to you if you're not into female lead characters, and that's okay too. But that's this obviously a female lead character done quite well, and with a pretty big supporting cast. I mean, I think this title is one that it just has a lot of fun and energy to it. And from my experience watching people come in and buy it, it's one that sells well. It's one that has broad appeal of a lot of different people. So I'd suggest you give it a try. It's a good book. Skyward, Image, really nice title by some really talented creators who of course have done other things, but this is their book. So, stick on this one. Give us a really nice run because this is a really good book. But there you go, Skyward. So, hey, if you haven't subscribed, why not subscribe? I'm doing this all the time. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if that's what you're into, and go follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch at Twitter, and give me some suggestions. Tell me what titles you want me to review, and have a great day.